They say you should never reveal all your cards at once. For 8 long years, I lived by that rule, letting everyone believe I was a struggling nobody. Even my wife, Sophia, the woman I thought I loved, had no idea who I really was. That night, I sat at the corner of our leather sectional, sipping a glass of water like I didn't have a care in the world. I let them laugh. Sophia, with her flawless curls and that gleaming pearl necklace I bought her, was in her element. She loved playing hostess, especially to her circle of friends. I called them her entourage, the type who wore designer dresses to backyard barbecues just to outshine one another. And tonight, they had found their entertainment. Me. "Daniel, sweetheart, why don't you tell them about your latest job hunt?" Sophia cooed, her tones syrupy sweet, but laced with venom only she could muster. The room erupted in laughter before. I could even open my mouth. It wasn't the first time she had done this, used me as the punchline to her jokes. But tonight, she was really going for it. Maybe the new champagne had given her courage. Her best friend, Melissa, chimed in next. "Honestly, Sophia, you're so patient. If my husband couldn't hold a steady job, I don't know what I'd do. I mean, it's not like Daniel's even trying, right?" She gave me a look that could cut glass. I forced a weak smile. That's the thing about playing a role. You have to commit, even when it stings. Inside, I wanted to laugh in their faces, to tell Melissa that her position as head of marketing was courtesy of me. I could see the resignation letter sitting in my drafts folder with her name on it. But I didn't. Not yet. Sophia leaned back, swirling her wine. "Oh, Melissa, don't be too hard on him. At least he knows his way around the kitchen. The man makes a mean spaghetti and someone has to do the dishes around here." More laughter. Even the husbands joined in, their chuckles bouncing off the vaulted ceilings of the house I paid for, the house they thought belonged to Sophia, courtesy of her supposed financial contributions. Funny how none of them questioned the cracks in her story. Did they really think her part-time charity work funded this marble-floored palace or the luxury cars parked out front? No, but they believed what they wanted to believe, because it was easier, and I let them. Sophia wasn't done yet. "Remember that one time Daniel thought he could be a consultant?" "Oh, darling, you spent months preparing for that interview, didn't you? What was the company called again?" "Oh, right, Summit Innovations. They didn't even call him back." She erupted into laughter, clutching her sides as if it was the funniest thing she'd ever heard. That one hit close. She didn't know it, but that interview wasn't what she thought. It was my routine quarterly check-in, an undercover review to ensure my managers were doing their jobs. I had sat across the table from my own hiring team that day, silently judging them while they judged me. It was my way of keeping things in check. And now my own wife had turned that into a joke. The night passed in a blur of cruel remarks, shared glances and clinking glasses. They didn't see how my grip tightened around my drink or notice the fire burning behind my calm expression. That's the funny thing about people like them. They assume the quiet ones are weak. But weakness isn't silence. Weakness is thinking your throne is secure when it's built on lies. Eventually, Sophia waved me off to the kitchen. "Be a dear and get us another bottle, won't you?" I stood and did as she asked, my face a mask of quiet submission. But as I walked away, I caught the words she whispered to Melissa. "Honestly, I don't know how much longer I can do this. A man without ambition is just embarrassing." Embarrassing. That's what she called me. I felt the heat rising in my chest, but I swallowed it down. Tonight wasn't about reacting. It was about remembering. Every word they said, every laugh they shared, it was fuel for what was to come. As I stood in the kitchen, uncorking another bottle of champagne, I glanced at the clock. It was 9:47 p.m., less than 12 hours until the board meeting. Less than 12 hours until their world came crashing down. Let them laugh tonight, I thought, because tomorrow none of them would have anything to laugh about. I returned to the living room, placing the bottle on the coffee table like a dutiful husband. Sophia barely acknowledged me, too busy telling the room about her latest spa day. I sat back down, taking my place in the corner, silent, insignificant in their eyes. But inside I was smiling. Let them mock me. Let them think I'm nothing. Because when the clock struck 9 the next morning, they would learn the truth. The man they belittled wasn't just their equal. He was their boss. I even let her spend money recklessly, knowing every dollar she flaunted came from my hard work. What she didn't know was that I was always watching. I wasn't just building a company, I was building safeguards. Every shell company, every private account, every legal document was designed to protect what I'd built. Sophia had no idea that every extravagant vacation, every luxury car, every designer dress was paid for by Summit Innovations, funneled through accounts she couldn't trace. And she definitely didn't know that her so-called inner circle of high achievers were my employees. Sophia's best friend, Melissa, was the head of marketing. Angela ran human resources. Even their husbands, with their tailored suits and smug grins, were senior executives, all handpicked by me. They thought they were untouchable, climbing their corporate ladders, making decisions they thought were theirs. But every promotion, every project, every so-called achievement they bragged about at dinner parties had been orchestrated by me. I didn't just build Summit Innovations, I controlled it. And they were pawns in a game they didn't even know they were playing. As Sophia and her friends mocked me that night, I thought about the files locked in my study upstairs. Surveillance footage of drunken company events where they let their guards down, expense reports showing their misuse of company funds, recorded conversations detailing their questionable business strategies. They thought they were invincible, but they didn't realize they were being watched by someone who had planned for this moment for years. Sophia's mocking voice snapped me out of my thoughts. "Daniel, are you even listening?" she said, laughing. "Honestly, I don't know how you expect to get anywhere if you're always daydreaming." I smiled, a small, calculated smile. "You're right," I said. "I should focus more." She nodded, satisfied, not realizing how true those words were. Because while she saw me as the failure in the room, I was the one holding all the power. And tomorrow, when I walked into my own company as more than just Sophia's husband, the illusion she had built would crumble. The truth about power is simple. It's not about how loudly you speak or how much you show off. Real power is quiet. It's patient. It waits for the exact moment when the people who underestimate you are at their most arrogant, and then shows them who you truly are. That night, as I carried another bottle of champagne into the living room, I knew I had reached my limit. The humiliation, the laughter, the dismissive looks. It had all added up over the years. But Sophia's final jab, the one she delivered with a smug grin while her friends clinked glasses, was the spark that lit the fuse. "Honestly, I don't know how much longer I can kill this marriage," she said, her voice loud enough to cut through the laughter. "I mean, I love him, but love doesn't pay the bills. I feel like I'm raising a grown child, not married to a man." Her friends gasped, not in shock, but in mock sympathy. "You're so strong," Melissa said, placing a hand on Sophia's arm. "I don't know how you do it," Angela added. "I keep telling her she deserves better, someone ambitious, someone who can match her energy." I paused in the doorway, bottle in hand, listening to the chorus of agreement. My grip tightened on the neck of the champagne. I'd heard enough. Every word, every insult, every patronizing comment. They were drilling into me, but not in the way they intended. Each jab didn't weaken me. It fortified me. I was done playing the role of the defeated husband. Tomorrow I would end this charade. "Daniel, are you just going to stand there?" Sophia snapped, her tone sharp and impatient. "Bring it here, already." I forced a smile, walking over and placing the champagne on the coffee table. "Sorry about that," I said softly, keeping my voice even. "Didn't mean to keep you waiting." "Of course you didn't," she said, barely looking at me. You never do. That was it. I straightened up, looking around the room at the people who had spent the entire evening tearing me down. None of them met my eyes. They didn't need to. To them, I was invisible, unworthy of acknowledgement. But tomorrow, they'd be looking at me, really looking at me, for the first time. I'm going upstairs, I said, keeping my voice calm. Big day tomorrow. Sophia didn't even glance at me. Good luck with that, she said, already turning back to Melissa. Maybe this time he'll land something. The words hit like a slap, but I didn't let it show. I walked upstairs to the study, closing the door softly behind me. The sound of their laughter followed me, but I blocked it out. I had more important things to focus on. Inside the study, I locked the door and sat at my desk, taking a deep breath. The calm facade I had worn all night faded away, replaced by the cold determination that had driven me for years. I opened the hidden panel behind the bookshelf, revealing my secure workspace. 3 monitors lit up, displaying live feeds from the company, financial reports, and the personal files I had gathered on Sophia and her friends. Melissa had been siphoning funds from the department for years, disguising it as event planning expenses. Angela had covered for executives who violated company policies, sweeping harassment complaints under the rug. The husbands weren't any better. Greg had inflated quarterly figures to boost his bonuses, and Scott had been leaking proprietary information to competitors. They all thought they were untouchable,